Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following program's views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or StylesRebelRadio.com.
Welcome to another episode of Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio. Nationally local, meaning we play your local bands nationally. I'm Luke Strazio, joined as always by Dom Farrow, and we are kicking off, or actually finishing, your Monday morning drive right here, the 10 o'clock block on WSRR's Monday morning drive. And folks, we're going to preview it now, Dom. This episode, it may seem a little low energy. We're at the back end of a 2-episode spree recording. So it is currently February 28th, Friday, February 28th. It's about 11:30. We've already recorded one episode tonight, and you're going to get that episode next week. Me and Dom made a tier list of the best days in sports as a sports fan. Talk about March Madness, NFL wildcard weekend, NFL week 1, what else we got in there?
All your favorites.
The World Cup,
Tour
the
de
Olympics,
France.
Tour de France,
I know you wanna hear about
Wimbledon.
that.
We touch on everything, all sports. The best days to watch sports as a fan. A little horse racing. So definitely one you're not going to want to miss. It's kind of in honor of March Madness because March Madness, day 1, I'll tell you now, it's an S-tier day in sports.
You knew that.
You can be part of that by joining our March Madness bracket, WSRR's March Madness bracket, partnering with GenericClothes.com. Chance to win a contest winner t-shirt from GenericClothes.com. $1 to enter, and we will send you an invite to our ESPN bracket. Fill out a bracket against me and Dom and the rest of the field, and the winner will be winning a free t-shirt from GenericClothes.com. So make sure you look out for that. By the time this gets posted, the bracket still won't be set, right, Dom? There's still no Selection Sunday. We got to patiently wait for that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what day that is. I'm going to look that up real quick. But that's a day that wasn't on our tier list, but if it was, it would be a D tier. Selection Sunday stinks.
Yeah. No,
as a day on its own.
I mean, you already know pretty much everyone who's going to be there, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you'll see a couple, but like shockers, like last year, people thought Pitt was going to make it, and people were very upset that
but people in Pittsburgh always think that like Pitt's going to make it for some reason. They also said that Pitt was going to make the college football playoff.
So Selection Sunday is going to be March 16th. We still got some time here.
So actually, our next, the tier list episode will come out the day after
Perfect timing.
Selection Sunday. It'll be perfect timing.
Just how we planned it.
Yeah, we totally planned it that way. We're big brain thinking here at Behind Enemy Lines. We totally definitely plan ahead.
We kind of have things planned out years in advance here on this show, so just stick with us and see how things unfold.
Our long-term storytelling here on Behind Enemy Lines is rival to WWE. Like we have storylines in the books,
kind of like
years ahead.
Kind of like Bane. It's all part of the plan.
That's right.
No matter what happens on the show, if you think that I forgot somebody's name, no, it's all part of the plan.
That's right. Every stutter, every misstep,
every failed ad read, it's all part of the plan.
Every time that I stumble over Generic Clothes or Hellbender Vinyl or Synergy Music Studio based out of Chicago, out of the south side of Chicago, it's all planned. We're just building lore.
You might think we're messing up, but this is called world building, buddy.
Yeah.
Read a book.
We're actually giving ourselves lore armor, and we're also aura farming. So
big time.
Look out for that. Just know that every step we have is planned out, in detail. Dom, this weekend, March 1st, 2nd, and currently actually on February 27th to 28th, the NFL Combine taking place, which is ramping up draft season. Combine, as I said, going out right now. Pro days are kind of next. A couple of other, off-season tours, teams meeting with rookies and things like that. But the NFL draft and draft season is fully upon us. We're fully into the swing of things. Draft day gets mentioned on the tier list day, so look out for that tier list day, tier list of best days.
It will be
so
tier
again,
list
tune
day.
in for that one next week. We're really hyping it up because
It's a good
it's a
one.
banger.
And we know bangers.
It's a banger of an ep, and we know bangers. So look out for that next week. But the draft is fully in the swing of things. What's going on in Pittsburgh land, Yinzer land with the Steelman?
Interesting stuff is going on. Funny you mention it. Combine, meeting with two players that we've talked about a good amount on this program. Ashton Genty.
Ooh.
Very interesting.
So Najee Harris is hitting the road if that happens.
Well, there's also some news about that. Apparently they're working. They're having constructive conversations. They're still open to a deal getting done. I don't think it's going to happen, but they're saying it's still a possibility. But Ashton Genty, if he drops in the draft, that would be amazing. But they're talking with him, which
I think there's a high probability that he would draft to pick 21, 22. I mean, just the way that running backs are valued right now. And then, some people say they didn't think he looked as good as they wanted him to against Penn State.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he drops a little bit. But
I'd
go
like
on.
that.
Ashton Genty, name number one that the Steelmen are targeting a little bit.
And the second one, which is an interesting one that we've had, different opinions on. We feel, not 100% sure on. Quinn Ewers.
Really?
Yeah, they're talking with him.
It's funny. I had a conversation with a coach friend of mine about Quinn Ewers today.
Yeah?
And I said that I liked him in some spots, and he, as a college coach, they kind of watch other college teams and get a lot of different college film. He goes, I actually watched a good amount of Quinn Ewers' film from Texas, and he just doesn't think he's a good decision maker, which when I first saw him, like one of my big things, you can listen back on this show, when they played Arizona State, fourth and a couple of yards in overtime, biggest play of the game. They already had gotten scored on in overtime. So this is for the season. If they don't, convert here on fourth down in overtime, the season's over against a lower seed in Arizona State. And, you got your number one play called. You're ready to make a play that the coaches tell you to keep your season alive. He saw that Arizona State was blitzing. He stayed cool, checked out of it into something else, checked to the blitz, made sure the pass pro was where it needed to be. And then he throws a touchdown. Like, to me, that's kind of staying cool and decision-making, isn't it? So I don't know if that's enough to, say he is a number one guy and he can be an NFL quarterback, but I think he would be a good backup at least.
It's tough not to have, recency bias play a role in this because that play alone, that was do or die. And it was very improbable, and it was a fantastic throw he made.
Yeah, and they played well, or he played well throughout the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Even against Ohio State, really, he didn't play bad.
No, had a great season. He's had a great college career.
Who'd they beat the first week of the playoff? It was Clemson. He played really, really good against Clemson, too. I thought he helped his draft stock enough. But
that's an interesting name for the Steelers, though.
Does he have any higher ceiling than being a backup?
Yeah, I'd say so. I say anyone does that gets drafted into the NFL in the first 4 rounds, 6 rounds.
Who's his NFL comparison for you?
I was just thinking of a guy like Will Levis. He's gutsy. He can make plays. But
I don't know. I think Will Levis actually might be a touch more athletically talented.
What about Kirk Cousins?
Maybe. That's another. I don't know if he has as good decision making as Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, it's tough. He's not quite as good as Kirk Cousins. I don't think he's quite as bad as Will Levis.
I almost want to say Baker Mayfield, but I don't know if he has quite as good of an arm.
Yeah,
they're kind of similar builds. I feel like.
I like Baker's athletic ability more.
You think so? I think Ewers would surprise some people with his pocket presence, footwork, stuff like that. He's not going to jump off the page at you, but he can handle himself.
Nah, he's like a Matt Stafford.
Okay, there we go. I like that.
Not
Stafford's
good.
You saying
great.
Physically?
Yeah.
Just mobility wise, lower body athletics?
I'm saying in general, as an NFL comparison.
Arm overall? You think he has as good of an arm?
He's not on that level yet, but he could be.
I don't hate that. So where do you think he is his ceiling to be taken? 3rd round?
It's a good question. 3rd round, I'd be okay taking him in the 3rd round.
I think
no earlier than that.
no one would be upset with getting him in the 3rd round. Pretty much anyone.
Yeah,
but at
that's
the
good
same
value.
time, it's going to be I don't know if we want to give a 2nd round pick on him. I don't know if anyone's going to be taking him in the 2nd round so that someone else doesn't get him. You know what I mean? I don't think he's at that level of a player. And because of that, I just don't see him getting a great shot anywhere. I feel like he's just going to be a backup probably for his whole career.
Yeah, I was thinking of guys like Mariota, too, as a comparison, but I wanted to give him a fair shot at being a starter in the league.
I think Mariota, has had a really good career for himself, though. I mean, the longevity of a career like that, where he was a starter, now he's a backup. As I've said, a lot of people will be like, oh, yeah, Mariota's career was kind of a bust because he was a Heisman and then he didn't do much. But, he's had a great career, a football career. Again, we'll never have to work a day in his life, really, after he retires if he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
That's not what it's about when drafting a quarterback.
It was Mariota and Jameis going into the league at the same time, and if you look at both their careers, if you were to from the time they were drafted, and if you knew what their careers would turn out to be, you'd be like, it's a disappointment
For both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say.
yeah.
Which is interesting because, again, they both have had, 11, 12-year careers now?
Yeah, and they've made boatloads of money, more than 99% of people make in their entire lives. So good for them. They've killed it. Jameis is still, verdict's not out there yet on him. He could still win a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, well, so could Mariota. I mean, he's still on the team, right? He hasn't retired yet.
I guess he could have a Foles-type moment, but I think he's...
Well, if they do win a Super Bowl, I'm not saying it's going to be as a starter.
The Kenny Pickett-type situation.
Yeah, exactly. Kenny Pickett just won a Super Bowl. Carson Wentz almost won a Super Bowl.
Unbelievable.
How upset as a Steelers fan are you that Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl? Because I think it's insane how mad Steelers fans are about that. Yeah, I get it. He has a Super Bowl, but I keep hearing so many people be like, it's crazy that Kenny Pickett has a Super Bowl ring. It's yeah, you could say that about half the backup quarterbacks that win Super Bowl rings.
I don't really care that he won a Super Bowl as much as most Steelers fans, I feel like. And I think more outsiders made a bigger deal about that, making fun of him. Kenny Pickett won a Super Bowl before GTA 6 came out.
Because I
think it's funny.
I've heard a lot of people in Pittsburgh who are sound legitimately upset.
No, but don't get me wrong. The thing that made me the most upset was him taking the final play in the Super Bowl. That's what rubbed me the wrong way. That guy doesn't deserve it. He quit on his team.
He did?
He quit on the Steelers, demanded a trade because he didn't want to have competition. That's the part that rubs me the wrong way, and now he's taking the final snap in the Super Bowl.
That I will say I recently got a new job as a barista / bartender, and I met this diehard Steelers fan who's one of our cooks, and that was one thing he really put it into perspective about how he said that he was they brought in Russ and he just quit, and he said no, I want to be traded. They brought him in to compete for the starting job, and he said no, I'd rather be a backup somewhere else.
Yeah,
and he went somewhere he could win and won a Super Bowl ring, and but he doesn't deserve it because of that. And I kind of was that's a great way to put it into perspective, why you could be mad as a Steelers fan. But
and I like Kenny, happy for him. I met him a few times. He's always super nice and always super nice to fans.
You DoorDashed for him, right?
I did DoorDash to Pickett.
You had him as Taco Bell.
It was some Italian place, but he was super nice, always kind, generous. But the last snap that hurts as a Steelers fan because we drafted him, and that day it's oh my god, we got the guy from Pitt, the guy that could have been a Heisman.
They passed on Marino last time. They didn't pass on him this time.
Can't make that mistake
Pittsburgh's
again.
Got their guy.
But I'm glad they moved on from
quickly before the break. I distinctly remember Dom a couple years ago. You telling me a story of Kenny Pickett when he was at Pitt. You DoorDashed. I thought you said it was Taco Bell, but maybe I'm wrong. And you brought the food up, and you saw on the thing Kenny Pickett comes to the door. You're like, oh my god, that's crazy. His house looked like a pigsty. And
Uh-huh.
I remember you going back. This is when I knew you were actually like a Pitt fan, I feel like. You went back to your car and you looked in the cup holder and you're like, oh man, I didn't give him his Mountain Dew.
I'd already driven away.
And
That's
you
when it was.
yeah, that was right. You even drove away. And then I distinctly remember you saying, for anyone else, I would have just taken it. But for Kenny Pickett, I had to turn around and go give it to him.
I did.
And that was when I knew that you were bought in on the Kenny Pickett train and you were kind of a real Pitt fan, which was crazy to me.
I called him back. I was like, hey, you want this? He's like, yeah.
There you go.
And then he got it.
Now, if he saw you again, he might distinctly remember you for that. Probably not, but
No chance.
interesting. Give us your run-in with a athlete, someone famous. I always love hearing about those. 216-859-8699. You're listening to Behind Enemy Lines.
If LimeWire taught us anything, your digital music is free and open to piracy, and even manipulation when it comes to digital distribution. So why settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around on the internet? Make your release something special with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants and works with local artists to get their next release pressed exactly to their liking. So check out Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl pressing plant today by visiting hellbendervinyl.com to get started. And don't forget, all customers at Hellbender Vinyl get 5 free test presses at no additional charge. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Hi, this is Melissa.
Hey, it's Matt.
Hi guys, my name is Ari.
Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
Come through to a Synergy Naked session.
Synergy Naked is a live performance recording, also captured on video. Look for our releases on YouTube at Synergy Music Studio.
We're located on the south side near Chicago. Passing through.
Hit up our DMs on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio. Make sure you're checking out the premier programming that is happening also on WSRR Radio, including shows like The Pigeonhole with the Pidge, the Rebel Radio Show, and the Rebel Replays with radio's Rebel DJ Style, Shaney and Jules, as well as Off Air and the Lo-Fi Wake Up, one of the chillest stations, not just on WSRR, but really in all of broadcasting. Can't sleep, Lo-Fi Wake Up from 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on weekdays. Maybe you can't sleep. Maybe you just have a real job that requires you to get up at a reasonable hour. So Lo-Fi Wake Up, make sure to tune into that. And right now, we are on Behind Enemy Lines, another premier program from WSRR Radio. Dom, we talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers and their draft situation a little bit, as the NFL offseason is fully in draft season swing. Now let's talk about the Cleveland side of this show. This is the Cleveland Sports Talk Show from Pittsburgh. The Browns drafting at number 2. And right now, all signs are pointing to quarterback at number 2. I feel like more and more mock drafts are coming out where the Titans do not take a quarterback. And I keep seeing ones where either they take Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, and it kind of leaves the Browns to take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. What's your thoughts?
It's kind of sad for Cleveland fans, but in a way it's refreshing. You know that if you draft a quarterback, you get to forget about a lot of the past.
Yes.
These recent years.
You get to rebuild and fully say you're rebuilding.
There's some big mistakes that have been made in that organization, and if you commit to a new quarterback, a new franchise quarterback, it gives some hope. It gives some optimism moving towards the next season. I think if you draft a defense player, what does that really get you?
It's almost like if they draft a quarterback, they're at least admitting that what they did was wrong. You know what I mean? And they're like, all right, now we messed up. Let's move on from it now.
And they didn't want to admit it for the longest time. But I think if you draft quarterback now, I think it's a good time.
I'm afraid they still won't admit it, though. That's what I mean. Like, they won't draft a quarterback here, and they'll try to
Keep pushing it off.
Keep putting lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, but what other quarterback option are you going to have outside of Deshaun Watson next year?
I think that they need to get creative with quarterback options, such as drafting a guy in the 3rd or 4th round, 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. Take Will Howard or Quinn Ewers or Jackson Dart or someone late who's there. Don't waste a day 1 pick on them. Just have someone late that's there. Or trade for a backup quarterback such as Joe Milton, Hendon Hooker, some of these young guys who you don't know about them. Like, they could end up being a franchise guy.
Yeah.
Or someone else who's a decent backup who can be a bridge quarterback. But I don't know. Cam Ward, I wouldn't hate. Shedeur Sanders is getting insanely annoying.
A little bit. But there's a big difference between a number 2 overall quarterback in any class, doesn't matter, and then a Joe Milton, a guy who was the 2nd quarterback drafted by the Patriots.
Yeah, but it's less risky, and they have so much other stuff that they need to do. You know what I mean?
Where you're saying you can get a surefire, defensive guy in Abdul Carter.
Maybe not surefire, but like we've talked about it. Like the other positions, so many times rookies step in and have huge years and can immediately help and then build towards the future, such as receivers. I think if you take Travis Hunter and maybe you can't figure out immediately which way he should play more of and all that type of things, but eventually you'll figure it out, and like he can help you to build towards the future a little bit. He can, I don't know. I just think there's more of a likelihood that he can help build towards a championship team than one of these 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, but the Browns need to blow things up. They know that. Things haven't been going their way for a while. You drafted another defensive player. Myles Garrett still wants out. If you draft a quarterback, maybe that's going to change the tone around here. Maybe Myles Garrett sticks around. It's just a different team. You draft a Travis Hunter, it's really the same team except you have this really fascinating player on the roster.
You don't think Travis Hunter is captivating enough to keep Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward around? And Nick Chubb? Probably not. But I'm just
Probably
curious.
not.
I think that Shedeur Sanders is getting really on my nerves, though. I keep seeing these interviews of him from the draft, and like he's saying things like, "I'm the highest stock you can get right now. I think I'm the number 1 quarterback, and I think the number 1 quarterback is the number 1 asset to get, and I think that that's why I should be taken first." And it's just annoying. Like he's trying to market himself and like sell himself. Like, you should take me because I'm so good. He sounds like a used car salesman, like trying to sell himself, or like an agent of some sort, like trying to show why you should go with me and I'm the best deal. Like, why is he doing his own PR campaign?
Doesn't make much sense. It really is interesting. I thought maybe he's trying to be like his dad, trying to capture that same.
But what is that like getting him towards? Is what I'm saying. Like, how is that helping him?
Maybe it makes himself look more valuable, he thinks.
I don't know. Like, that's what I mean. Does it make a dip? Like, shouldn't you be more concerned with going to the right team and then winning? Doesn't that make you look more valuable?
Maybe he's aura farming. What do you think about that?
Shit, he could be.
You got farmed?
You might.
I think everyone's getting farmed on, and he's collecting these points.
He's aura farming for sure, isn't he? He's just making himself. He's building lore so that if he says, "Yeah, I'm the greatest," whatever, it's like, oh my God, he had that Jordan mentality. Like, he just knew he was number 1 no matter what everyone says.
Or he's going to be like Lonzo Ball, where he's going to be, good player, but the noise outweighs the talent.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm worried about.
From everything I've seen,
makes it more annoying.
I think I'd want Cam Ward. The zip that he has on his ball.
He looks more nonchalant in the pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
he's
looks
cool.
He looks awesome.
He doesn't need to flex and act tough like Shedeur.
Yeah, I actually there's videos of Shedeur and him like both working out for like pre-draft stuff with like some QB coach, and they're like talking shit to each other.
Yeah.
And every time I like take Cam Ward's side. Like, I think Cam Ward toasts
he gets
his
it.
ass.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's toasting him.
They have
And
a
I think he's
really,
hilarious.
they have a really interesting relationship.
They really do. I saw one video where he was like, Cam Ward was like, hey, why are you getting water? We just finished one drill. Like, get in shape. Like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, just, again, toasting Shador. Shador's like, I don't drink water. I drink Gatorade. I was like, shut up, you freaking rich kid.
He
Like,
drinks Prime.
that's such a stupid thing to say. Like, I get Gatorade because I get paid to. I was like, oh, shut up. Like, that doesn't show you're a better quarterback.
Yeah.
I like the guy. I think the guy has more aura who's like, nah, I don't need water.
Yeah. You can tell Cam Ward had to grind a little bit more to get where he's at.
I think that Cam Ward was born with aura.
Yeah.
Whereas
You think Shador's farmed his?
Shador Sanders has farmed his through his father. Whereas I think Cam Ward just has it naturally. It's God-given aura, not passed down aura.
You might be right.
What do you think of that?
You might be onto something there.
We were talking about the NBA a little bit earlier on the last episode that we recorded, which is actually the future episode that'll come out next week. But before we started recording that, we were talking about Jason Tatum's aura.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much like he's not being the face of the NBA because he doesn't have enough aura.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I think there's a lot of reasons.
Like
I
there's
think
a
that's one
bunch
of
of
them,
stuff that keeps coming up where he says, I want to hear your reasons after this, but I'm just explaining the situation. I think that like he was like, you look at what I've done and you look at the numbers and you take the name away from it and you say, what do you think of player A? And like people would say I should be in a better conversation of like best of all time and like face of the NBA and stuff like that. But he's not, and I think people are saying it's because he's not as likable, and people from Boston are saying that especially. But people online are pretty much saying like he's just not as cool and he's not as like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't think he's as big of a standout as a real star player.
In what way?
He plays on a team with Jaylen Brown, where like you compare it to Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. It's clear that Michael Jordan was the guy. With those two,
there are some nights that Jaylen Brown is the guy.
Yeah, and there's an argument to be made that Jaylen Brown is the guy in general.
I don't know.
There's arguments to be made, but I think that's the biggest reason. He's not the number one. He's not the reason they win night in, night out. It's not a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. It's, both these guys are really good. They're two stars, but they're not superstars. They're not the face of the league, and they never will be.
Yeah, and I actually think them being together too hurts them. It like hurts their credibility almost.
A little bit.
You know what I mean?
Definitely doesn't help.
Where they won't be the face of the league because it's like, well, what if you didn't have so-and-so? And I do think that they probably could strive on their own, but strive and thrive on their own, but I don't know if we'll see that, But yeah, I don't know. He's annoying to me. His son's ugly. I want to punch his son, which is so wrong of me, but Deuce looks so
cool.
ugly. I hate him.
on.
You think he's cool?
Yeah,
No.
he's the man.
Wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate on Jason Tatum.
Well, you kind of equated him to this, like, basketball's Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
I said he's a little bit behind him. He's still younger in his career than Mahomes is.
Not as dominant, obviously.
Not as
but
dominant yet. I don't know if he is actually younger. I shouldn't say that. He might have been in the league
But like he's
the
just
same
like
amount, but like he's just now starting his reign of getting into best player in the league status.
But overall, like he's a good guy. No scandals. You don't see him in strip clubs like James Harden. I mean, he's got that similar like clean image as LeBron, like Patrick Mahomes. He's just much younger. So yeah,
I think
don't know.
him and Patrick Mahomes, I mentioned that I think him and Patrick Mahomes will both be the next generation's argument for their GOAT, because, people in basketball is like the people that our parents grew up with MJ, we grew up with LeBron. Now this next generation is going to grow up with Jason Tatum as like the best.
Yeah,
In
I don't
football,
know.
it was kind of like, and again, it also is because they're coming off of a GOAT. Like Jason Tatum's right behind LeBron, Patrick Mahomes right behind Tom Brady.
What about Wemby?
Wemby, again, it's only his second year. We'll see what happens with him.
So far, he's like unstoppable freak, generational talent.
But again, it's only been really for this 1 year because last year they didn't. I don't even think they made the playoffs, did they?
No.
Yeah,
And he's out for the year now.
Wemby is.
Yeah.
Oh, they're cooked.
Yeah.
They got De'Aaron Fox now though, and CP3. De'Aaron Fox is young too, so like De'Aaron Fox and Wemby could be
Got tools.
a 1-2 punch for the Spurs for a while. That could be their Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan.
It's a better.
Even better?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
they need a third though because they had Tony Parker.
It's
also.
true. And that was the key right there.
I don't know. CP3 won't be there long enough.
Now, do you want to see him win a ring?
Chris Paul, I do.
Yeah.
I have for a while. I wanted the Suns to beat the Bucks. I was one
Yeah.
of the only people. I think I was the only one in my friend group who wanted the Suns to beat the Bucks because I really like CP3, and I wanted Chris Paul to win a championship. But I don't know if he will.
I mean, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. You look at the list, there aren't a ton of point guards that are like in that argument for greatest of all time. So as far as point guards go, he's I'd say definitely top 10.
I just made a connection that I don't know how much you're gonna like because I think you hate on the NFL version of this, but of who I'm about to mention. I kind of think Chris Paul is the NBA's Drew Brees. Like Drew Brees won one ring though,
Yeah.
but like statistically, both really, really good. Half the people will say that Chris Paul is like a top 10 point guard. Half the people are going to say that Drew Brees is a top 10, maybe even top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, same thing, could maybe even top 5. But in the long run, like Drew Brees only won one ring. CP3 maybe never will win one. Like, what do you think about that?
It's not bad.
That's a pretty good.
It's not bad
That's
comp.
a pretty good NFL comp,
The
right?
thing that the championship though with Drew Brees, that's the one thing that you can't take away from anybody.
Is when they win a chip.
Yeah. And Chris Paul not having one, that's just the biggest stain on his resume.
I really wanted him to win one with the Suns for that reason alone. Was KD
But yeah.
on that Suns team?
No.
I wanted Devin Booker, and I wanted him to win one because I thought Devin Booker for a little bit. I thought he was going to be better than Tatum, and I wanted him to be because I don't like Tatum, and I don't really love Devin Booker either.
Devin Booker's still, he's a star.
That year he was a star. I feel like since then he's kind of faded.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. That whole Suns team in general.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton, supposed to be something special.
Well, they traded him. He was part of the KD trade, I believe. Sent him to the Trailblazers. I think. Something like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Just making stuff
That's
up.
the thing with the league. There's not a ton of players on every roster, but there's only so many that really have an impact night to night.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that, they're just filler. You could really replace them with a lot of international guys, rookies, G League guys. A lot of replaceable players, but the ones that aren't, that's the ones that make the league what it is. And the only thing that makes it watchable.
Yeah, but the thing that hurts the league is that they keep moving around. You know what I mean? Like, again, I don't even know where DeAndre Ayton is right now. I think he's with the Trailblazers, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much movement in the NBA. Everyone's signing one-year contracts, and then free agency hits, and they're going everywhere.
But they're still making boatloads.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous money in the NBA.
They're making a lot. And again, more than 99% of us will ever make.
That's right. Good for them, too.
Yeah, damn good for them. Not great for us.
Maybe one day, behind enemy lines, will be paying us $70 million a year.
That's right. Maybe we'll get 70 million people to sign up for our March Madness bracket.
Yes. And then we need to win it, though.
Yeah. Well, no, we don't have to win it. The winner just gets a T-shirt. We get the money.
Oh,
I don't know.
Let's go.
We're gonna have to
Send this to your
consult with
friends.
WSRR and make sure.
Should
that-
plug that again, though. Make sure you check out Behind Enemy Lines or WSRR Instagram. You'll see the post. Sign up. Join our March Madness pool. You can win a sick T-shirt.
For $1, just an entry fee of one single
One
dollar.
measly little dollar. And maybe you can be the lucky winner of the first ever Behind Enemy Lines March Madness tournament.
Yeah, and get some Behind Enemy Lines generic clothes merch.
That's right.
Contest
One of one.
winner. One of one. That is true.
Super rare.
Super rare. 216-859-8699. Let us know your entire bracket so we can steal it, and then we can use it as a winner.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
So we can get
Join
7
the bracket.
million.
70 million. Send it out to all
all we
70
need.
million of your friends. Stick with us here on WSRR Radio. This is Behind Enemy Lines.
What's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Well, both do their job of concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but it certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Have a laugh at the big brand clothing company's expense with shirts that simply say sports team, political statement, music band, and more. A shirt for any occasion and the perfect gift. GenericClothes.com.
Tired of these old fogies and their dials and knobs and 108.3s? Who needs all that jazz? Just open up your phone and head to the App Store, download Live 365, and punch in WSRR. That's right, only 4 letters and just a click away.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, brought to you by Synergy Music Studio, based out of Chicago. Synergy Music Studio offers a diverse array of musical services specifically crafted to meet their clients' needs, from recording to mixing and production. Discover how they can bring your vision to life at synergymusicstudio.com. This is Behind Enemy Lines, and we have to issue a bit of an apology. We are dragging right now. This is our second show in a row. We were a little low energy there at the end of the last segment, Dom.
It's all good.
I think we'd have to admit that, correct?
Hopefully they can forgive us. It's past midnight now. Late West Coast basketball here, watching the Lakers and Clippers
We're
face
watching
off.
the Battle of LA. Me and Dom have put on some tasty licks, some tasty parlays here, getting in on that sweet, sweet action.
You got to.
Got
FanDuel
to.
sponsors, please.
We prior in the night bet on the Celtics and Cavs, trying to make a little money for the station. And we were, what,
Rick.
2 Jared Allen rebounds away from $600?
From about $2 million coming right our way. Thanks a lot, Jarrett.
Yeah, Jarrett
So,
let us down there. I'm not going to lie.
so if this show goes bankrupt, you can thank him.
It's all Jared Allen's fault. If I can't pay rent this month.
Because right now we're down about 5 big ones as far as this show goes.
That is right. 5 big ones. 5 huge ones.
And we're in trouble. We're in trouble if if Luka doesn't get a few more assists here. But
We need what? We're with 6.5 minutes left. Luka needs what? 2 more assists? As he
More like
fires
3.
from deep over Zubac.
Zubac's been cooking though.
Zubac, we should have bet his double-double for sure. He's got 21. He's bullying people. He's 11 for 12 from the field.
He's going beast mode,
11
some would say.
rebounds. They can't lock up Luka right now. What else? Austin Reeves needs like 7 more points.
Yeah, basically I think we're cooked. I think we're going to be down another 5 big ones, making it a big whopping negative $10 on the account for BEL.
Oh,
It's hurt. It hurts.
it hurts. You know, you set out in the morning and you say, I'm going to make money today, not lose it. But very seldom does that ever actually happen for me.
You say, you know what? I'm going to get rich quick. And if I'm not, I'm going to die trying. And that's what we do around here. Gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER if you do have a gambling addiction or gambling problem, because, you know, gambling is nothing to joke about. It's not like we're doing that here right now at all.
I had one of my friends ban himself from all gambling in Pennsylvania.
How do you do that?
I think he just went to the casino. He's like, can I ban myself? And it was like, I think it's pretty quick.
What?
Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah. And then you're banned from sports books. You can't do scratch offs. You messed up.
Can you unban yourself?
I think that's a much longer process than
Probably.
banning yourself. But yeah, I think it's possible.
You can do that.
But you can
ban yourself.
You can ban yourself from specific casinos, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you have to do it like all of the state, but that's what he did.
What if you... They're never going to do this, but should there be a process for doing that, like in the reverse way? Should you have to unban yourself? Like you have to get a gambling license?
To be able to gamble in the first place?
Yeah. I kind of feel like you should.
Yeah, but how would you pass that?
I don't know, but I kind of feel like you should need to get a gambling license.
Let me tell you, I went to the casino the other week. Four Nations face-off was happening. I bet on the championship game, Canada versus USA, I bet Connor McDavid over shots on goal. He had 2 shots the entire game. The game goes to overtime. He gets the game-winning goal, gets that 3rd shot on goal. Anyways, bet cashes. I go to cash it out at the casino. It's a physical slip. And they're like, this is still active. It's like past midnight. I'm tired. My friends are leaving. I don't want to stick around at this casino any longer than I have to. I'm like, whatever. I'm sure I'll be back some other time this week with my friends. The next day, I'm getting lunch. I'm kind of near this casino. And I'll just stop in here and get this cash. And maybe I'll play a hand of blackjack.
All right.
I go in there, cash it out.
Daytime casino visit?
It's like, this is the earliest I've ever been in a casino. It was like before noon.
That's awesome.
It was like 11:30.
Was it electricity in the air?
No. I walked in there. I felt an overwhelming feeling of sadness and depression.
That's how you want it.
60, 70-year-old people drinking Bud Lights at that hour.
That's
it was just
awesome.
like, so I just cashed it out and I got out of there record time, and out in like 10 minutes.
How much was it?
Huh?
How much was it?
Oh, I think maybe only like $35 in cash.
Oh, so it was just because none of the blackjack tables were open at that time that you didn't take it over there?
No, they were. It was open, but I just couldn't.
Were there actually dealers dealing blackjack?
Yeah, oh yeah.
At 11 a.m.?
This casino is packed every hour of the day.
Really?
Parking lot's
Rivers?
packed. Not Rivers. This is the York Hollywood Casino.
Oh, this was when you were at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
In York.
Visiting.
Wow, that actually surprises me even more.
They built this casino within the last 3 years, and every single day it is packed, and I think it's the worst thing that they've ever built in that town.
There's a casino everywhere now, isn't there?
Pretty much. I mean, you used to have to go to like Vegas or like Atlantic City, and now...
Or like an Indian reservation?
Yeah, now it's like, what's the point? They got one in freaking York, Pennsylvania.
They got one in every town, and you can do it on your phone. You don't even need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Why would you need to go to a physical building?
It's way too easy. It's dangerous. It's gonna age very poorly.
That's why I'm saying, should you need a gambling license? Like, I almost feel like you should have to like take a course, even if it's just like an hour-long course.
Listen,
for like different things. Like, oh, if you want to play blackjack, you have to get a certification that says I can play blackjack because I know what's going on in the game.
Don't you think? Well, I think there's a similar argument to be made about people getting licenses to
drive,
to buy firearms.
Yeah, well, same thing. There should be.
But people are like, you need your freedoms. You need to let people do whatever they want. It's going to be bad for a lot of people, just like there have been a lot of bad things that have happened with guns, gambling, alcohol, marijuana, all these things that you legalize for people's like freedom. Bad things are going to happen, but I do think gambling is going to age the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
Gambling apparently it's like the hardest addiction to beat.
Probably because you can only lose as much as you put in. That's the thing, but you can make an infinite amount of money.
It is tempting. I get why it's addicting for sure. I'm like 99% sure I'm not addicted to gambling. I like gambling.
Speaking of that,
I love the rush.
We're hitting the over on this 100%.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
They're at 201. We bet over 220.
There's
5 minutes left. We're good.
We're good. We'll sweat this one out. You can sweat this one out with us. But this is another interesting thing. But do you think Barstool Sports specifically has made gambling enticing to people our age and younger?
Yeah, 100%. They have.
Like more than anybody.
Yeah, I think they've talked. I feel like they were one of, if not the first, sports broadcast, sports platforms to like familiarize everyone with the lines and like make that popular of like every game. Like, okay, here's what the lines are. You know what I mean? Like that's, I feel like their culture and their what they've focused on has really like put that in front of people's face more than ever before.
Yeah, it's very appealing to young people too.
Yeah. To think about the prospect of being able to make money watching a basketball game.
Be able to get rich watching LeBron James score 20 points for the countless time in his career.
Right.
It's a little too enticing sometimes. But
which is why, again, I feel like a gambling license might not be that bad of an idea.
Problem is how. That's the issue. What do you got to prove? Like with getting a driver's license, you got to prove that you can drive. Getting a gamer's license, what?
You should have to take a test. Or like, dude, there should be some type of like analysis that you can do, even just like online, that says I am in a right mind, a right state of mind, and know enough of what's going on around me to where I'm not going to jeopardize my own or like my family's own, financial security.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like I said, like you should take something initially. They send you out a card and it's got a scan on it, just like a driver's license. And, you can scan that at the casino and it says the things that they're registered for to play.
Yeah.
Like, all right, this person took his blackjack courses. This person took his poker courses. He knows, how to sports bet. So, he's free and clear.
This could be a good idea. But
you love it, don't you?
Maybe you think that'd be like a government thing? Like,
yeah,
Department of Gambling. It's like you have to go here get.
I don't see any other way they could make it work other than that.
Yeah,
like it's kind of just like going to the DMV. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that doesn't make anybody really money. It makes people money with more people on the road, or people going places, spending money places. Doesn't make these companies more money if they restrict some people from gambling their life savings.
It's not about the companies that the government is doing it.
They don't care.
The government doesn't make money from casinos.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
What, taxes?
Yeah, a lot of taxes.
Yeah, but I don't know. Shouldn't it just be about the greater good of
They make taxes from all the money that the casinos make, and then they make taxes from the big winnings that people make in the casinos. If you hit a jackpot on a slot, you have to like go through a bunch of like, loopholes and stuff because of the taxes.
Sign a bunch of documents.
Yeah, exactly. So they just really, I think, making money.
So the government wants you to lose.
Or
they want you to win.
They want money in and out. They just want money flowing.
Economy.
And that's right. Money comes and money goes.
Money. All right,
Greed.
Mr. Krabs.
Greed.
Bread and circuses.
That's all it is.
And greed.
Straight greed.
That's all it is. Really, the government is looking at us betting the same way that we're watching gladiators fight.
Pretty much. So, Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, they're like, on the Elon Musk is heading. They're supposed to be, eliminating a lot of waste and stuff. Apparently, they found, like, in this one government department that they were on a bunch of unused Adobe licenses.
Really?
Yeah.
So, like, just people
Just
having Photoshop with nothing, not using it?
Like, companies will buy, like, bundles from Adobe. So, maybe they'll buy 250. It'll be a lot cheaper than buying, like, 100 individual ones.
Oh, okay.
But they, like, acted like, that's huge. That'll save us points.
Like, they bought 1,000 Adobe memberships, but then they only had 800 employees to use?
Yeah. But they're like, we're canceling the rest of these. We just saved everybody a bunch of money. And, like, Adobe licenses maybe like $20 each.
I was going to say, so what? They saved, like,
Points.
a couple $1,000 for the...
If that.
For the nation? Good work.
And then how much are we paying these guys to do all that? It's like, I feel like, I don't know. maybe we might be losing money here. But there definitely is a lot of reckless spending, and there's a lot of money that they make in taxes.
And
so
there's
who
a lot
knows?
of reckless spending in the government and at the casinos. That's what I'm saying.
That's right. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff at casinos where people just sit down, lose a cool $1,000, no big deal, walk out.
It's insane stuff. It really is. I don't know how. Some people, I guess, just look at money different. I'd lose my mind.
I think it's really interesting when really rich people gamble, like Dana White or like Michael Jordan. Like they have so much money. It can't be about the money that you're making. It's just the thrill, just the action. Just being involved in the action.
That's why they
is
have
enough
to
for
throw
them.
thousands of dollars on to make it worth
Just
anything.
to feel something.
Yeah.
What a life. If I was like loaded like that, would I gamble? I don't know.
I think I'd still play like $5 hands and just.
Yeah,
that'd
but
be
would
the
you feel
game.
anything
Yeah.
if you were worth $300 million like Dana White?
Yeah, maybe not. Well, see, to them,
$5 would
though-
be like, bro, this is literally pennies.
To them, though, it's still like 100. I don't know. Maybe not.
They need the action.
I'd play $100 hands, and then all my winnings for the night would go to a hobo.
That'd be pretty fire
That
for
would
them.
make it like, or you just take a homeless person in, give them a $5,000 and say, go play $100 hands of blackjack, and you just watch them.
Spin the roulette wheel. Pick red
Yeah.
or black. All in every time
Well,
until you lose.
maybe me saying that homeless thing's kind of messed up. You watch Squid Game? You ever watch that on Netflix?
I watched the first season.
The second season, I just got around to watching it, and they have a guy pretty much do
Can't
that
be good.
in the parking or in like I almost said parking lot, a park. That's the word, not parking lot, just a public park. He goes up to all the homeless people. He puts out his two hands. In one hand, he has bread. In the other one, he has a lottery ticket. Bread or lottery kind of reminded me of bread and circuses. And, some of them choose the lottery ticket. One of them chooses the bread pretty much, and all of them lose. So that would be Dana White taking some homeless guy in, saying, hey, here's $5,000.
No
or
bread.
you can take the $5,000 and go feed yourself. But watching him go play at blackjack, that'd be pretty tough.
Everybody's greedy.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Everybody's greedy. Money, 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 money. Mr. Krabs, everyone hates on Mr. Krabs, but it's like
That's
he's
you.
He's a caricature of what society is.
You are Squidward. You are Mr. Krabs.
That's right. And who's really
the SpongeBob? Will the real SpongeBob
really the sponge?
please stand up?
Who's the real sponge in society?
Will the real SpongeBob please stand up?
216-859-8699. Please let me know if you're a real spob. Thank you for listening to Behind Enemy Lines. I'm Luke Strazio.
I'm Pharaoh here. Peace.
The preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.